The case of the SS Lotus. Facts of the case. On August 2, 1926, a collision occurred on the high seas between a French mail steamer, the SS Lotus, and a Turkish collier known as the Bozkurt. The collision caused the Turkish ship to be split in two. The French captain, Lieutenant Demons, reacted quickly to help those aboard the Turkish ship. Despite Lieutenant Demons' best efforts to help those aboard, the collision results in the fatality of 8 Turkish nationals. The Turkish captain, Hassan Bey, did manage to survive. With nothing else to be done, the SS Lotus continued on its journey and arrived at its destination of Constantinople the following day. On August 5, 1926, a few days after the collision, Turkish authorities began investigations. They requested Lieutenant Demons to give evidence of the incident. He was later arrested alongside the Turkish captain, Hassan Bey, and charged with involuntary manslaughter. No previous notice of the arrest had been given to French Consul General. Lieutenant Demons argued that Turkey lacked jurisdiction of his conviction due to the collision occurring on the high seas. Despite his claims, Lieutenant Demons was sentenced to 80 days of imprisonment and a fine. When France was notified of what had occurred, they asserted exclusive criminal jurisdiction with respect to Lieutenant Demons. On October 12, 1926, after months of disputing claims, both states agreed to refer the issue of jurisdiction to the Permanent Court of International Justice. This court would later become what we know today as the International Court of Justice. When presenting the case of the SS Lotus to the PCIJ, the following questions were referred to the court. Did Turkey violate international law when Turkish courts exercised jurisdiction over a crime committed by a French national outside Turkey? If yes, should Turkey pay compensation to France? The arguments presented by France, the plaintiff. First, France argued that international law does not give states the ability to extend criminal jurisdiction to any offense committed outside of its territory. Therefore, Turkey has no criminal jurisdiction over Lieutenant Demons, as the incident occurred in the high seas, away from any Turkish territory. The second argument presented by France was on the basis of customary law, specifically in regards to the notion that jurisdiction of any crime committed on the high seas falls on the state whose flag the ship flies. Therefore, since Lieutenant Demons was on the French ship, he must be prosecuted in a French court. Finally, France argued that Turkey could not conduct criminal proceedings simply based on the fact that the victims of the case were Turkish nationals aboard a Turkish ship, as this claim would contradict the facts of the case, which were that Lieutenant Demons was aboard the Lotus.
Arguments presented by Turkey, the defendant. Turkey stated the victims were Turkish nationals and the alleged offender was French, and it argued that it did not violate international law when Turkish courts exercised jurisdiction over a crime committed by a French national outside of Turkey. The Turkish government in court relied on the framework of obligation and argued that France should identify a rule of public international law prohibiting it from assuming criminal jurisdiction with respect to the French lieutenant. So the Turkish government considered that in the absence of such a rule, they can assume criminal jurisdiction over the French lieutenant and not pay any reparations. So what did the ICJ conclude? The ICJ ruled in a split decision on the side of Turkey and concluded that Turkey did not in fact violate any international law, as there is no ruling which prohibits a state from convicting a foreign national who commits an act outside of the state's national jurisdiction, because it still produces an effect in that country. Therefore, there is no occasion for Turkey to pay any reparations to France. The impact of the Lotus case has been monumental, as it became a source of foundational principles in various areas of international law. The first principle that came out of the Lotus case is, the Lotus principle. The principle entails that the non-prohibition of a certain course of conduct is equal to that conduct being permitted. This assumption is based on a positivist approach to international law, where states are free to act as they wish unless they are explicitly not allowed to do so, and the Lotus principle has long been considered the touchstone of international legal positivism. The Lotus case is also significant for principles of territorial jurisdiction. Many cite Lotus as indicating that international law permits extraterritorial jurisdiction. The case is seen to validate the existence of objective territorial jurisdiction, which means that a state has jurisdiction over an event that, although it didn't happen in the country, has still effects in its territory. Although laws over people in the high seas were changed by Article 11 of the 1958 High Seas Convention, the Lotus case is still cited in the most high-profile international law cases of our time.